afternoon, fellow judge and our respected opponents. My name is Hannah Kane, and I am here to represent the negative team. Our team strongly asserts, now that you have heard and considered all the supporting evidence provided in this controversial debate, you will agree with us that standardized testing should be required in the public school system. As suggested earlier, the affirmative team claimed that testing limits students' thinking and is prejudiced towards minorities and students with disabilities. Let's take the permit test, for example. According to the DMV, the hearing impaired take the same standardized test as the average person. The hearing impaired are considered a minority, yet they are allowed to drive if they pass the permit test. If there were a separate test for the hearing impaired, would that be fair? How will we know and be assured that they comprehend and will follow the law? Their statement that standardized testing should be abolished in the public school system is highly flawed, because testing focuses the path for higher education and does not lead to a crisis in creativity. Numerous standardized tests, such as the CSTs, SATs, and ACTs, include a writing portion of their tests. This allows the students to demonstrate their critical thinking skills and creativity. In reference to creativity, writing is an individual effort that does not involve simply bubbling in circles in a multiple choice test. Students are able to demonstrate their creativity, and without standardized testing, how else would our students be compared to other students across the nation? We need a test that is fair and non-discriminatory to compare students in the United States. Continuing this form of testing is not destined for failure, but rather it provides a reliable and accurate comparison for every student. Standardized testing has positive impacts on student achievement by motivating the students to excel while improving their engagement in school and motivation and efforts. Is it true that high-achieving students are not allowed admission to college because of their low test scores? No. The majority of the top four-year universities take the holistic approach in the college admissions process. They consider the student's GPA, their leadership, involvement in their community, and their extracurriculars, just to name a few. Through three factors, fairness, usefulness, and accountability of the standardized testing, it is very clear from our supporting evidence that you should agree with the negative team. From the great words of Dr. Lewis King, you are not defined by yourself, but rather in comparison to other things around you, because you are in a relationship with everything. Testing has a firm relationship with students and their high achievement. Today, the affirmative team attempted to conduct a concert without the necessary instruments. They lacked evidence. The affirmative team has failed to prove that standardized testing limits the potential of every student. And the negative team respectfully requests that you find the continuation of standardized testing as an essential part of the public school system. Thank you for your time listening to our debate.
Very good, Hannah. 1 minute question.
He loved the thing with Dr. Kennedy. He loved the Dr. Kennedy. He loved it. He was like, yes. Okay, go work, team. You did everything you could do. You're on that's fine. Are you sitting on
final speaker, affirmative.
Good afternoon, teammates, opponents, and Mr. Young, our judge. My name is Alexia Bradford, and I am a proud member of the affirmative team in today's debate. I am going to start off first by addressing all remaining points that the negative team has brought up regarding our argument, as well as pointing out the weaknesses of their argument. I will then summarize our case to you and remind you as to why the state of California should not require standardized testing as part of the public school curriculum. Judge, Mr. Young, let me first respond to the contentions made by the opposition regarding our case. Firstly, our opposition mentioned religion. While we used religion as an example, it was not one of our main points. To go into more detail about our SMART test, it is a test that will be given on a local level to school districts. These dynamic tests will measure us as people, not simply numbers on a piece of paper. Our opposition also stated that we were trying to portray these tests as mindless bubbling, but they are not because of the writing English section. But who grades these sections? Biased humans do. So then how are they fair, as they claim that they are? Also, we were attacked on the credibility of one of our resources that stated these tests do not accurately measure creativity. Dr. Gerald W. Bracey is an education researcher and has obtained a doctorate degree and therefore is a reliable source. Now, let's talk about the weaknesses of the negative team's case. Our opposition stated that standardized tests are graded by a machine and therefore are not biased. But the fact of the matter is that it does not matter how the test is graded, it is how it is made and presented to our youth. Our opposition also stated that these tests improve education, when in fact the 2011 National Research Council found no evidence that standardized testing is improving student achievement nor education. She also stated that standardized tests create time management so that teachers are able to conduct class better. However, teachers now spend too much time on test prep and are not able to teach new information. Lastly, I would just like to point out that our opponents never addressed our issue about the extensive costs of standardized testing. In just the last 5 years, the cost of standardized testing has raised almost $700 million. With teacher layoffs and budget cuts, California simply does not have the resources for these standardized tests. Judge, Mr. Young, we presented our case and standardized tests just don't make sense. 1, they cost too much and time for the lack of outcome they result in. 2, they fail to accurately assess the true intelligence of our students. And 3, they perpetrate a cycle of discrimination and inequality.